Lauren, you want to kick us off?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. I had to click a button. I didn't see that before. Sorry. Anyway. Hi, I'm Lauren Collison, Marketing Content Manager for Madison Settlement Services. So anything you see on our Facebook, website, blog, all that fun stuff, that's me. So I'm very excited to learn about videos today. And yeah, thank you, Sam and Tom. And then I'll let Tom take the stage here.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Madison, for having us. I'm Tom Boffman with WFG. We're a national underwriter for Madison Settlements, and videos is near and dear to my heart. I think, especially in the last year, Sam's going to go over some great stuff. And I think, especially the last year, we had to utilize videos so much, and I don't want to see that stop. Just because we're out and about, I think we still can really utilize the videos, and that's where Sam's going to come in and really teach us some great tips and tricks. And I know he's taught me a lot, and I'm eager to keep learning from him. So take it away, my man.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. First of all, the haircut is on point. I still have got problems going on. Same story for me. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us. We have a good little group here. Welcome in Ashley and Brenda and everybody else that I hadn't welcomed yet. But thanks for spending a little bit of time with us on this beautiful Monday morning. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get kicked off. So video that stands out from the crowd, like Tom said, for me too, video is near and dear to my heart. I truly believe that my career, what I have for a career would not be what it was for sure if it weren't for video. I'm going to give you a few little anecdotes for things that happened for me using video as an independent title agent in Texas and New Mexico. Some of the biggest deals of my life out here in West Texas, they're ranch deals and things like that. But some of the biggest deals of my life came from video. And I'm going to talk about the platforms that I used to deliver those, how I made them, and how I made those as engaging as possible. So I made a quick little intro video for us today. So we're going to get started with that. I literally made this probably 7 or 8 minutes ago, right before I hopped on. So that's how easy it is. And then we'll get started. And if I click the right button, that's what'll happen. Hey everyone, it's Sam Trimble coming to you from El Paso. It's just a few minutes until our class. It's bright and early Monday morning, at least where I am. I wanted to make this quick video just to show you how simple it is to make a video that sounds good, looks good, and stands out from the crowd. By the end of this very class, you'll know how to make a video just like this, and all you need is one of these. And trust me, it's much easier than you think. Thanks again to Lauren and everybody at Madison Settlement Services and Tom with WFG National Title for having me. Let's get started. I've become addicted to that song that I use for the background. But so no joke, I made that video probably 7 or 8 minutes ago, right before we hopped on this call. As you can tell, I was equally as glistening and my hair was in the same places and I have the same shirt. But that's how simple it is. It's something that you can do really quickly, just moments before you need it. So just so you know who's talking with you this morning, this is a little bit about me. If you've been on some of Madison's webinars with us before, you've probably already met me. I would encourage you, the most important thing here is I'd encourage you to whip out your phone, scan that QR code and connect with me. I love to connect with people all over the country. That's how I continue to grow and learn. So you can connect with me through my socials and all that stuff there. And you can also find some recordings to past classes on different topics and stuff. But thanks so much for hanging out with us a little bit today. So this is probably a question, so why video, that I don't necessarily need to answer. The proof is in the pudding, and most of you probably understand why it's so important in today's world. That said, every time I talk about anything, I like to nerd out on statistics and quotes and things like that to really get me in the mood to talk about it. So this will be no different for me. I love this quote from one of my favorite marketers. Video is the Swiss Army knife of marketing. It can be used all over the customer lifecycle, whether it's customer service, marketing, or even recruitment. And each one of those stops along the life cycle is absolutely something that you can use video for. The great thing about a real estate transaction, whether you're a title company in Madison's case or a realtor in those of you on this call's case, there are so many touch points in the life cycle of a transaction, right? There's, in the realtor's case, there's trying to find that house to begin with, and that process, getting an offer written, getting an offer accepted. But once that happens, from delivering the contract to the title company, throughout the process, clearing title, delivering earnest money, all of those things, there's a ton of different touch points, and video is a great way to engage with your clients and customers when it comes to those touch points. So I really think it is the Swiss Army knife of marketing. So the proof is absolutely in the pudding. Internet users enjoy video content above anything else. Statistics say that 85% of all internet users in the US watch video content daily across all devices, meaning their cell phone, their laptops and desktops and all of that. 85% to me almost seems low, but then I think about the fact that when they're talking about all internet users, they're talking about like my abuelitas in El Paso that are 97 years old that are on the internet too, right? So 85% of each and every internet user is watching videos every single day. So obviously it's the number one piece of content online these days. And really, you know, I used to hear the term, I didn't hear it as much. I remember my dad telling me about this term when he was a kid, but keeping up with the Joneses, you know, had to get the latest sneakers or whatever. As a not a good thing, but it's not always a bad thing, because 60% of businesses use video as a marketing tool. When I saw that stat, and this is a 2021 stat, by the way, when I saw that stat, I was almost blown away that it was only 60%. I'm shocked that it's not more than that. But sometimes doing what other people are doing or replicating what they're doing is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to marketing. I'm not the most creative person in the whole world, so getting inspiration from what other people are doing is always a good thing. Consumers love seeing video on social media. Animoto says that video is consumers' favorite type of content when scrolling their socials. The proof there is that platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, even Instagram now will promote video over photo or basic text all day, every day. Why? They want people to stay on their platforms as long as possible so they can show us as many ads as possible. And they do that by serving up things that are the most engaging. And they know that consumers think the most engaging thing is video. So a couple last quick ones. 74% of marketers say video has a better return on investment than static imagery. There's a reason why every ad, you know, if you're anything like me, and I don't know what this says about me, but I get served up those goalie ads all the time, those little like gummies, like apple cider vinegar gummies, and like for liver health and gut health and weight loss and all. I don't know what they're seeing me do that they feel the need to, but each and every one of those ads about a year and a half ago, I've been getting them served up for a long time. So each and every one of those ads about a year and a half ago was static imagery. Right, it'd be a dynamic image that looked really good, like professionally graphic design, really nice. Now, each and every one of them has at least some semblance of movement to it, if not a full-on video. So you can see companies that are spending a ton of money on digital advertising online, they're shifting to video versus imagery, and it's because of statistics like this. So the first thing I'm going to say is when I start to talk about video, and I've been talking about it for several years now, the number one thing I get back from people is, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't want to be on video. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't want to be on video either. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. We'll be what we'll be. We got to get out of our own way. I'm me, you are you. We all look, we all sound, we all speak differently with different inflections and tonalities and different types of voices. And to me, that's what makes the world go round and what's make things really cool. So the number one thing I think is to get out of your own way, be confident in who you are and accepting of who you are, and get over it. Again, every time I see a playback of anything, I hate the way my voice sounds. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think that's a common thing. None of us really like the way our voice sounds. But again, I think we should get out of our way and embrace the fact that we're all different, and that's what makes life pretty awesome to me. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is let there be light, and I'm going to show you a quick example of me right now. So there I am without my ring light, and here I am with my ring light. It makes a big difference. If lighting is as poor as you see it on this side when you're shooting a video or even photography, it can almost be distracting, especially in a video. Right? It's kind of like, if I can't hear you well or I can't see you well, why are you making a video in the first place? So lighting is absolutely key. And this little light here, this is literally the one that I have. I use it for all of my Zoom meetings, and it's kind of like lodged in a lamp here in front of me because I didn't like the tripod I had for it. But lighting makes a huge, huge difference. So if you're shooting a video, always remember, don't be backlit, which means don't have a window or a sliding glass door or something like that directly behind you. It's going to be really difficult for people to see you. You'll turn into kind of like a Batman, like black outline, and it's almost creepy, but it's definitely distracting. So make sure that you're lit up really well. If you don't have something like a ring light, I'm going to show you one right now that's super cheap. If it's the cheaper, the better for me. And if there's a coupon for it, I will find it. So like, I'm not going to tell you to buy a bunch of expensive gadgets and gizmos, but if you don't have a ring light or something else, make sure you pop on the light in the room you're in. Make sure you're across from a window that's receiving some light. Or if you're outside, make sure the sun is in front of you, facing you, not behind you. But lighting is absolutely key. And like I said, it could be very distracting if it's not done correctly. Ring lights are the greatest thing ever, because now they're like $15 or $20 at the absolute most. And most of them will include a couple things. I'm going to show you one that I've got now. I use it for each and every one of my Zoom meetings. I use it for all of my videos. I have another little mounted light, ring light, that I use for my videos. I use it for still photography. I use it for all kinds of stuff. And you can see an example here. All of your favorite influencers online, if you look in their eyes, kind of like this girl here, if you look in their eyes, you can see the reflection of the ring light. That's what everybody is using for all of their images and videos. And they're a lot cheaper than you would think. My uncle built his own home with his bare hands, this beautiful 2-story, incredible house near the fluorescent fossil beds in Colorado. And he always taught me that it wasn't a project if you don't buy a tool. Like Tim Taylor, you know. And I feel the same way when it comes to marketing stuff. It's not a project. It's not something new if you don't buy a tool. This is one of my favorite examples of how cheap and simple and easy this stuff is. For $22 on Amazon, this one comes with the ring light. It comes with a mount for your phone. And that mount can also be turned horizontally, which is important. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. And it also has this remote right here, which is one of my absolute favorite devices. I used it to shoot the video that I showed you just a few minutes ago. I use it to basically shoot every video. And it's important so that you're not sitting there having to start and stop your cell phone camera every time you want to do a take. And the reason I like to be able to use one of these also is that it's much easier. I am not an actor. I don't play one on TV. I'm not a professional. So it's not easy for anybody to sit and talk for 2 minutes straight and stay on point, right? It's a lot easier if you break it out into 10 or 15 second little bites. Using something like a remote like this makes it much easier. You can, for example, introduce yourself, then click stop, take a breath, then introduce maybe the property you're talking about, then press stop and take a breath, rather than having to try and shoot the whole video all the way through. And once you have those clips, towards the end of the class, I'm going to talk about 2 of my favorite apps to be able to blend them together and make them look good, just like that video that we looked at the beginning of the class. But if you search a ring light tripod combo on, Walmart or, buy.com, I think, or Amazon, whichever you like using the most, you'll absolutely get a million different options, and most of them are pretty inexpensive. So this is one that I've actually bought before several times, this exact one. So if you need a recommendation, there you go. So like I said, the 2 most important things are to be seen and be heard. After all, it's a video. We want to see you and we want to hear you. That's kind of the point. So in today's world, the little microphones, which is this teeny little thing right here next to the camera, are actually pretty good. So if you end up just using your phone, don't take selfie video. The microphone's not as good. Have it facing you, have the cameras facing you in your little tripod, or if you have somebody else shoot it for you. So the microphone that's built in, which is this little button right there that you can see, are actually pretty good, but a shotgun mic or something like that is even better. It typically not only picks up your voice better, but it will eliminate ambient sound. So if you're not, just like with the light, if you're not going to use one, just make sure you're lit up from a window pretty well or outdoors facing the sun. If you're gonna use the mic that's built into your cell phone, make sure it's as quiet as possible around you. The other day, there was someone at my house working on a few things while I was shooting a couple videos, and I went to go edit the videos, and it's like, you can hear like a vacuum and a hammer, and they were way across the house. I could barely hear it, but the mic picked it up. And so, I had to reshoot those things. So make sure it's as quiet as possible around you, and speak up. I try to project when I'm having classes. I try to project when I'm shooting videos, but don't yell at me. The difference between some people is they're either like, yes, welcome to the class, we're really excited to see you, or they're like, hey guys, so excited, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm already awake, dude, like relax. So there's a happy medium, right? Be heard, but don't yell at me. And again, your phone has a good microphone, something that will work for the most part, but this is called the Takstar, and you can see the little name right there. If you search shotgun mic on Amazon, this is about 20 bucks. Works really, really well. The video that I shot this morning, I used that exact microphone for. The noise counselor and the wind screen works pretty well, and I just leave it on no matter where I am. But I've used this outside before, and because of this wind screen, you couldn't hear any wind. So if you're going to do something like a home tour or something like that, this is a great option. And again, it's 20 bucks. You will, however, if you have an iPhone, you will need the adapter, the 3.5 millimeter, which is what this is, to lightning adapter, but it's like $3 online, so don't worry about it. And that comes straight from Apple, and it's like under 10 bucks. But anyway, so the microphone built into your phone is fine if that's what you want to use, but if you want to step it up a little bit and make sure you're nice and crisp and clear, I would recommend something like that Takstar microphone. And you can go up from there. I mean, there's mics that cost $200, but if it's cheap, it's for me, and that one's like 20 bucks and works great. So I have a DSLR that I saved up, and I waited for Black Friday like 5 years ago to buy, and it shoots 4K video and is incredible, and I never use it, and it's depressing. And I could have taken a small trip to like South Padre or something with the money I spent on it, because at the end of the day, these have gotten so much better and better every time that there's a re-release of a cell phone, that what's in your pocket is going to be just as good for shooting video as a professional camera. So the excuse of, oh, I don't have a good camera, sorry, that excuse doesn't work anymore. That used to be one that I heard a lot. If you have a cell phone and it was made in the last like 6 years, you are more than good to go. So again, what's in your pocket? Your camera's in your pocket. One of the things I want to talk about briefly is checking the settings on your phone, because if you're going to start shooting video, those settings are actually pretty important. And most people don't talk about that stuff. So a couple recommendations, and I have here the Apple and the Android version. So hopefully this looks somewhat familiar depending on what device you have. I would turn the grid on, and I'll show you what that means in just a second, but this is all under camera settings. That's one of the first things. And then the second thing that I would tell you, and this is just an example of the grid, by the way. So when you turn the grid on, you have these little lines. And in photography and videography, there's something called the rule of thirds. I like the grid because you can basically make sure you can position yourself wherever you want to be. The rule of thirds says all these little intersections here, these 4 intersections, are the places where our eyes go most quickly as a viewer of photography or video. So you want to make sure that the things that are important are somewhere near where these lines intersect. I use them, however, to make sure that my face is somewhere in here and not like down here. Every once in a while, I would shoot a video and I'd like, maybe the tripod would move, or I would move a little bit or something like that. And I end up with like my head down here, and it's like, okay, this doesn't work very well. Like, so this is a great way to be able to check and make sure that you're in good position. Super easy to turn on and just a good thing to do. So cameras on your cell phone have gotten more and more impressive. Used to, like, you'd be lucky if you could shoot in 720. Now you can easily shoot in ultra high def 4K 60 frames a second. The problem with shooting in 4K or these higher frames is that they're huge files. So if I were to shoot a 2-minute long video or even a minute long video in this 4K, it's going to be gigantic. It's totally unnecessary. Most of the videos that we're shooting, unless this is going to be something that you want to have out there forever, a profile video maybe or something like that, I would definitely recommend dropping down to 1080 at 30 frames a second. That is more than clear enough, more than high quality enough, and it will keep your file from being gigantic. So if you want to text it, upload it to social media, upload it to YouTube, whatever it is that we end up doing with that video, it's going to be a lot easier if the video is 85 or 90 or 100 megs versus like 3 gigs. I see people every once in a while that shoot videos using this 4K, and they'll call and be like, man, like, I thought I had a phone with a ton of memory, but I can't even shoot video anymore. It's like shutting things down. My memory's gone. And I'm like, well, what happened? Well, I shot like a 10-minute video, and we'll go look at their settings, and it was in 4K, and it took up the entire memory of their phone. So again, be careful here. And these settings are all under your video settings on whatever type of device you have. But 1080 at 30 frames per second is more than enough to look good. So this is like one of my biggest pet peeves. And the reason why it's one of my biggest pet peeves is it used to be super obvious, but now with stories and reels, the story has changed a little bit. But for our purposes and what I am typically going to want to do with my video, I am always going to want to shoot horizontal, 16:9, cinematic, whatever you want to call it, horizontal. When you shoot a video like this vertically, it is very difficult to get that into a horizontal format that looks good. Whereas if you were to shoot a vertical video, I could pretty easily get it into a horizontal format if I had to. So that is the number one thing. People start to think like this. This is how we all think because of the way we use our phone and the way we hold it typically. But always try to remember to turn your phone horizontally. It'll look better, especially when you're dealing with, if you're at a neat place, say you're shooting a profile of like a local restaurant, which I absolutely recommend you guys do. Those are great ways to get plugged into the community and get lots of engagement. But you're going to see a lot less if it's vertical. You're going to see a lot more if it's horizontal. And that gave me a chance to do a Madonna dance move too, I just realized. So that was cool. But always try and keep it horizontal. Tom and I have talked about that in the past. It makes a big difference. And you get to see a lot more. So these are my two favorite video editing apps. The video that I made prior to this call was using Quick. Quick is a GoPro product, but you do not have to have a GoPro and you do not have to pay to use the app. It is the coolest app for editing video ever. No joke, the video that I played at the beginning of this, and shooting it and editing it probably took me under 5 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes probably. So all you do here is select the images or videos that you want to use. It puts them all into one timeline for you with a click of a button. You click music, can swipe through probably like 100 different music that's built into the app, or you can use your own. Oftentimes, if you use your own, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram will pick up on it if it's something that's copyrighted, which like all of the music we listen to is copyrighted. So it actually will basically, it won't delete your video, but it'll make it to where people can't see it, and the people that can see it can't hear it. It doesn't work out well. Whereas the music that's on this app is all open source, free music, thanks to GoPro. And so there's probably about 20 different styles that you can literally swipe through, and it will edit the video completely differently. There's one that makes it look like it's the Old West. There's one that makes it look like it's Back to the Future. There's a ton of different templates, and they're all super cool, super easy to use. And I'm telling you, even if it's just photos that you're using, so you gather up the 50 photos of a new listing and throw them through the Quick app and turn them into a video, it will look awesome. It is a cool way even to do slideshows. So this is probably my favorite app there is out there. If you are an iPhone user, the Clips app is really cool for a few reasons. All the things I just said, pretty similar on Clips. I don't think it's as cool as Quick, and they don't come out quite as good, I don't think. Most of them are square automatically on Clips, which I'm not as big of a fan of, but it's helpful. You can resize on either one of them though. But on Clips, it's really easy to do a voiceover. So if you wanted to plug in a few videos of you walking up to a house, introducing the house, talking a little bit about it, then a bunch of photos of the interior, then maybe another video of you in the kitchen, the most popular place in the house for some reason, right? You can easily go back, add all of those things, and then by simply pushing and holding a voice record button, you could record a voiceover, and it will also, in real time, if you record it, it will turn that into closed captioning. So closed captioning is really cool. Most platforms now will do it automatically if it doesn't have it. So if you were to upload a video to Facebook, it will automatically create captions. Some of them are hilarious. I've never realized that I don't enunciate very well until I post a video to Facebook and I'm talking about, baseball, and somehow it's talking about like cows in a pasture or something because it doesn't pick up. But Clips is really good at picking up what you're saying and turning it into closed captions, which is important because statistically 45% of people that are watching videos online have mute on because they're either in their office at work or they're in the loo, as our British friends call it, and they don't want people to know that they're sitting there watching videos. That's a fact. So anyway, so these are my two favorite. I love when I can see you guys like cracking up, but you're on mute, so I can't hear it, so it's still silent and awkward for me, but I can at least see that you're laughing. So, so those are two quick and easy apps. Both of them are free, and if it's free, it's para mí. I would download them. And again, when it comes to a video editing app, people get freaked out and they're like, that sounds complicated and confusing. And like, I don't know that I want to mess with that. I am an idiot when it comes to most things. I picked up quick in just a few minutes. If you just try it quickly, you'll figure out how to use it, and you'll surprise yourself. And really, the way I would start, Lauren mentioned that she was at a family picnic this weekend. That would be a great place to take a bunch of pictures, take some video, use something like Quick, throw together a video and send it to your family. No one is going to die on the other end of your phone if you click the wrong button or you like type in something incorrectly or whatever. Everything's going to be fine. But I found that just trying things, stepping out in faith and trying new things makes all the difference. So I hope you guys download those apps and start using them today. They're super helpful. So we've talked about video, we've talked about lighting, we've talked about sound. We could do a whole nother class on content ideas and stuff like that. I love brainstorming over things like that. We've talked about a couple editing pieces, which, by the way, you don't have to use. That would be the last thing that I would say about editing. You're not Spielberg, neither am I, and he's a director, not an editor, but you get the point. So at the end of the day, no one expects for your video to be some perfect masterpiece. We are who we are. So if you never edit any of it and it just starts and you talk and it stops 30 seconds later, that is A-okay. If you can do the things that we've talked about, it will absolutely stand out from the crowd. But just doing video and engaging with your customers in that way is a really fun thing to do. I remember some of the first ways I ever used video was when I was still a practicing realtor. I still have my license. What's up, realtors? But when I was still practicing, I couldn't get a hold of a couple that I had been working with forever on trying to find a home. We'd gone through like 1 million properties and we kept losing out, or something would happen and whatever. We finally got one, and I was calling them and I wanted to meet them for coffee. I could not get a hold of them. So I group texted them a video, and I just like looked at the camera, like really downtrodden, and was like really upset. And I said, well, I have good news and I have bad news, and I was trying to get a hold of you guys, and I just wanted you to hear it from me so that you don't hear it from anybody else. The good news is you finally got a house. The bad news is you're going to have a mortgage, but it's okay because we got you an awesome rate. Life is good. Congratulations. I'm super excited for you guys. That was the second best way for me to be able to deliver that news than in person. And it stood out to them. And this was like 10 or 15 years ago now. All I did was text them the video. So when we're thinking about delivery of video, there's a lot of things to think about, but texting is a simple way to do it. I love to post them all over social media. We know they get better traction than anything else. If you don't believe that, go type in a post on LinkedIn and then go post a video and see which one more people see, and the proof will absolutely be in the pudding. Message through social media. How often, especially when you accept a LinkedIn invitation to connect, how often do you get like 10 seconds later a long LinkedIn message from someone trying to like sell you something or whatever? If you're trying to connect with clients and customers on LinkedIn, for example, think about sending a video to their messages. You get to look them in the eye, you get to say their name, they can hear your voice, they can kind of feel you out. And it's very different than typing words, black words on a white screen. It's a lot more engaging. Like I said, I like to just text them. I used to do that for updates on what was going on. Frankly, it saved me time. It was faster for me to shoot a video and tell somebody, hey, you need to drop off the earnest money. We have the option receipt. We're good to go. Title's cleared. We're looking at, it was so much easier for me to actually just send a video than it was for me to write it all out. And I could text it to them and I would know that it had been delivered to them. I like to email them too. Sometimes emailing videos can get a little wonky only because the file size could be prohibitive. So one of my favorite tools, I am not paid by these people at all, but one of my favorite tools is a program called BombBomb. I use it religiously on a daily basis. BombBomb is basically a platform that you can record a video straight from the app or straight from the website if you wanted to, or you could record it like I do and upload it. But you can record a video, you can insert it into the body of an email. So the video is actually in the email. So when someone opens it, there's a GIF of it moving and it's very engaging. So sometimes I'll use like a whiteboard that says like, give me 2 seconds or something like that. But what I really love about BombBomb is not only can you send gigantic videos if you wanted, you could send a 4K 2-minute long video in BombBomb if you wanted. It doesn't matter how big the file is, but every single thing in that email is trackable. So if I'm a real estate agent and I'm trying to generate some leads, I may send a video that's a profile of my favorite Italian restaurant in my favorite neighborhood, send it to all of my sphere of influence. And below that, you could have a link that says, curious what your house is worth, ? Each and every time somebody clicks on that link, it could just be to email you. It could be to your website. It could be to whatever you want. Every single time somebody clicks on that link, you're going to get notified. What does that mean? If somebody clicked on that link, there's a chance that they're starting to think about selling their house because they're curious what it's worth right now. So there's a little soft kind of warm lead for you. There's another program that's similar to BombBomb that I'm not as familiar with called Warm Welcome. I think they're priced about the same. They're relatively inexpensive, but I'm telling you, they work. One of the biggest deals of my career came from a gentleman named Bobby Patton, who's one of the owners of the Los Angeles Dodgers, was buying up a few ranches about 120 miles from El Paso, where I am, in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was trying really hard to be able to be the title company for that transaction. I called, I emailed, I tried to get a hold of him and his partners and everybody. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. I found some emails. I emailed a BombBomb video, and I was going like this in the video, holding a piece of paper that says, hi, Bobby. Who's not going to open that? I saw when he opened it, he watched it, he responded, he said, hey, that was really cool. We're going to be in town a week from now. We'd love to get together and see what you guys have to offer. We got the deals. It ended up turning into multiple deals, some of the biggest deals of my life. And they're both kind of sports related. The other time that worked really well for me was with a gentleman named Emmitt Smith, in my opinion, one of the best running backs in the history of football. He has a development company based in Dallas. I live in El Paso. I am closer to Los Angeles than I am Dallas, Texas. That's how big Texas is. So I dropped a video to him and to his right-hand woman, trying to introduce myself. I had sent snail mail. I had sent, little cards in the mail. I had tried to text. I had called and tried to set appointments. I sent a video to both of them. I get a response from Tamala Thornton, his right-hand woman. Hey, swing by the office next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. We'd be glad to meet you and see what we can do to maybe work together. I quickly booked a flight because they didn't know I was going to have to fly across the state to have that meeting. I had the meeting, we got the deals, and it was all because of something using video. It is the only way next to being in person that people can get to know you a little bit. They can hear your voice, they can see your face, and you can show a little bit of your personality. If you do these things, you will get more clients. Your clients will be happier with the service that you provide. The number one complaint of consumers, buyers, and sellers of real estate, according to the National Association of Realtors, is communication related. They said, we didn't know what was going on. Video is a quick and easy and painless way to keep people updated throughout the entire process so that the number one complaint that they don't know what's going on is no longer an issue. I truly believe that if you do the work when it comes to things like this, the results will absolutely follow. When I implemented, I don't know who this dude is, by the way, he just looked super happy and positive. So I wanted to make sure he was the focal point of my entire presentation. But if you do the work, the results will absolutely follow. When I started implementing personalized video into my business, it absolutely changed my career for the better. I'm thankful for it. Technology is a good thing. The last thing I wanted to do was, and here's the dog that ate my homework, and Hamilton was nice and quiet. So thank you, Hamilton, for being good. He's going to deserve a TREAT. If I said the word right now, he'd like jump on me. So your homework, if you're willing to do it, is to record a quick 30-second video introducing yourself to me. I love it when people do this. This is my cell phone number. This is my email number. I'd love for you to do it, and I will absolutely respond in kind with a video introducing myself. The biggest thing for most people is getting over the fear of being on video. This is a quick and easy way to do it. I'm not going to show it to anybody else. It'll just be for me. but it's a great way to kind of get over that fear. So shoot a quick video, text it over to me, email it to me. I hope some of you that are on the call do it. And then once again, thanks so much to Lauren and Madison for having Tom and I regularly lately. We really appreciate it. You guys are absolutely on the forefront of creating a business that serves your clients and customers in a really awesome way. And there again, for the last time, is that QR code. If you want to connect with me, I'd love to connect with you. So thanks, Tom, for the invitation. Thanks, Lauren, for having me. And with that, that is video that stands out from the crowd.
Well, that was fun.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Cool.
That was awesome.
Thank you,
Good
Sam.
stuff.
Thanks, Tom.
Of course.
See you guys.
And for everybody that was on, I will get a copy of the presentation over to Lauren, as well as a copy of the recording, and she will get that to you guys. So thanks for hanging out for a little bit, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday.
Bye, guys. Thanks again, Sam.
Bye. Thanks, Tom.